Hey everyone, this is Kelly Cahoot and I'm here for Scrappiness.com. Today I have two projects to share with you featuring Fawn's Love Letter stamp set. This is the one I'm going to be focusing on in the video, and then I'll share another one at the end. So the first thing I did was use just some smooth white cardstock, the Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm going to use that little cell phone image out of the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that randomly all over the front of that cardstock. And I'm going to twist and turn that stamping block so I get some that are right side up and upside down and sideways. I'm going to stamp one image on a stack of full sticky Post-it notes, and I pull off about 8 to 10 of those, and I'm going to fussy cut around that image. Now the reason that I use Post-it notes instead of, say, some masking paper was because I was doing tons and tons of multiples of the same image. If you're going to do a scene with trees and lots of different critters or something like that, I would probably use some nice masking paper. But I knew I wanted to do this with all the same image. I'm using my Clarity stencil brushes here and some Distress ink in Mermaid Lagoon, and I'm just adding a little halo of color around each of those little cell phones. And next I grab the Twisted Citron. I'm doing the same thing. And then lastly, I'm going to pull in some picked raspberry. So when I'm finished with the bottom half of that card, I'm going to pull up those little Post-it masks, and I'm going to transfer those to the little cell phones on the top. And I did the same color combinations at the top. I'm going to pull all those off, and I just love seeing that nice, pretty white paper underneath with the awesome halos of color all around it. I take a dry cloth and just buff off the top, that way my fingers don't get into that distress ink. Sometimes your fingers like to pull up the ink. And this little stamp set comes with 4 little text messages or emojis, and I loaded all 4 of those up onto an acrylic block. That way I could just clean one off and turn my block around and not have to load a new one on each time. So I did the little smiley face, I clean it, I'm going to turn my block and then do another one. To add just a hint of coloring on those cell phones, I used a C3 Copic marker and kind of smoothed that out with a C00. That way they're just not so stark white against that colorful paper. And then this little heart, solid heart image is also included in that stamp set. I love how Fawn includes all the little bits and pieces and smiley faces, and they just include everything you need in that one set. I loaded up my greeting into my Stampaholic stamping tool, and I'm going to stamp this onto some black cardstock with Versamark sticky ink because I'm going to heat emboss it with some white embossing powder. So I used my anti-static powder tool on that black paper. I'm going to rub my finger over that greeting, and it says, instead of texting, I made this card. And I love this greeting and the little cell phone because not only there's lots of Valentine images in this little set, but not only could you use this for Valentine's Day, but this would be great for birthdays or anniversaries or whatever. Instead of texting, I made this card. You could add a little happy birthday sentiment on the inside. There's just lots of different things that you could do. Okay, I cut the Fawn XOXO little lawn cuts there out of some vellum, and I'm adding some clear Winkostella over the top of that. And then I'm also going to add some cat Scrappiness, and this is called the Mini Mix-Up. It's the colorful sequins there at the top of the screen. They match perfectly to all of those beautiful Distress ink colors. And so I'm going to take some and scatter them on, and then use my Crystal Katana pickup tool and just some glossy accents, or you could use the Ranger Multi Medium in the matte finish also to adhere your sequins. And I'm just going to randomly place those along my card. And then lastly, I added some glossy accents to all those little messages and emojis on the front of the card just to give it a nice little glossy look. You could actually add that to all the little screens there on the cell phones. I just didn't go that far with it. So there's a little close-up of the card. You can see all that shimmer and sparkle. And I love all these distress ink colors together. It reminds me of something that we all would have worn in the 80s, maybe. This is the second card that I did with some simple stamping and Copic coloring. And I wanted to highlight the Cat Scrappiness Fancy Scallop die. I love the shape of these. All of the supplies can be found at catscrappiness.com. Go check them out, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.